You can hear me? Yeah? So I'm going to read an excerpt from Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And if you can see this article here, it is called Potential Plumes on Europa Could Come from Water in the Crust. So basically what this article is about, it is trying to disprove the global ocean idea of Europa. Europa is a moon around Jupiter, and it has an icy crust around it, and we think that underneath that crust is an ocean. So it's like an ocean moon with ice around it. And I'm a really excited believer in the idea of SpaceFish. And my thought is the first aliens we find as humans will be little tiny fish or microbes or something in the ocean part of Europa. So it's really exciting to think about, and this article is a little bit discouraging, and I haven't actually read it because you don't always like to read things that contradict things that you're excited about, but my dog likes it when I hold her. And so I'm gonna read this article to my dog, and if it tells us that Europa is not actually an ocean, I guess we'll cope with it together. Okay, here we go. So scientists have theorized on the origin of the water plumes possibly erupting from Jupiter's moon Europa. Recent research adds a new potential source to the mix. So new as in maybe not an ocean. Plumes of water vapor that may be venting into space from Jupiter's moon Europa could come from within the icy crust itself, according to new research. A model outlines a process for brine, or salt-enriched water, moving around within the moon's shell and eventually forming pockets of water, even more concentrated with salt that could erupt. So basically, instead of an ocean, there's these little pockets of like salty, briny, mucky type water. And the reason we think it's an ocean is because sometimes we see big plumes spouting out from the crust. And there's other things too about the shifting around of the ice and stuff like that. But basically we see the water coming out of this moon through the crust sometimes in giant plumes. And so they're trying to say that maybe those plumes aren't because there's an ocean inside, but pockets of like briny water, which I guess you could still have aliens living in that, but it's not as exciting. So, alright. Where's the science though? Europa scientists have considered the possible plumes on Europa a promising way to investigate the habitability of Jupiter's icy moon, especially since they offer the opportunity to be directly sampled by spacecraft flying through them. So you can fly a spaceship through it and like hold out a net or more complicated, but you can catch the plumes and look at what's inside. The insights into the activity and composition of the ice shell covering Europa's global interior ocean, can help determine if the ocean contains the ingredients needed to support life. So here they're acknowledging that it's an ocean, but the title of the article suggests that something else is causing those plumes that make us think it's an ocean. So I have not seen anything that will make me disbelieve yet in SpaceFish. This new work that offers an additional scenario for some plumes proposes that they may originate from pockets of water embedded in the icy shell rather than water forced upward from the ocean below. The source of the plumes is important. Water originating from the icy crust is considered less hospitable to life than a global interior ocean because it likely lacks the energy that is a necessary ingredient for life. In Europa's ocean, that energy could come from hydrothermic vents on the sea floor. So if it's not an ocean, it's not going to have those vents. We have them on Earth as well. Way past where the sunlight reaches, there's vents that shoot up, and because of the activity of our planet, it ejects energy and heat and things that little microbes can feed on. So there can be life without sun. We have it here on the bottom of the ocean. So if there's not an ocean on Europa and it is just pockets, it's not as likely, I guess, to support those types of life that don't need sun, that could just live off of like ocean floor. Chemosynthesis instead of photosynthesis. Understanding where these water plumes come from is very important for knowing. Oh, noodle break. I think she's getting hot. It's a lot of pillows. She's doing so good though. I just have to hold her. That's why it's hard to be on camera when we play games. Okay. I have to get up a lot. Where were we at, Noodle? Where did we leave off? Understanding where these plumes come from is very important to knowing whether Europa's exterior could have a chance to actually detect life from space without probing Europa's ocean, said lead author Giorgio Steinbrug.
You actually have a comment in the chat.
Oh.
Are you a xenobiologist or just interested in the topic?
I am interested in the topic. I do have a job that is communicating science, so on a just sort of 5th grade level. So I'm not going to be able to break down like the chemicals and compositions of things, but I have a pretty good grasp on like the ideas of what we're looking for when we look for life, and I try to keep up with the progress in the news leading in that direction. So yeah, it's a fun thing to study. Are you? Europa explorers could have a chance to actually detect life from space without exploring Europa's ocean. Okay. A postdoctoral researcher at Stanford School of Earth and Energy and Environmental Sciences. That's a fun name. Using images collected by NASA's Galileo spacecraft, the researchers developed a model to propose how a combination of freezing and pressurization could lead to a cryovolcanic eruption or a burst of frigid water. The result, published November 10th in Geophysical Research Letters, may shed light on eruptions on other icy bodies in the solar system. So there are other places besides Europa that this happens. So they're just saying maybe none of them are as liquidy as we think. I don't like that.
So, Koheri of Astors says, nice, very cool. You're the first streamer I've seen just reading science papers.
Ah.
And also that, no, I'm about to graduate with a physics degree, looking into grad school focusing on general relativity.
Oh boy, you know some things I don't. Good for you. Yeah, that's good. A lot of good things to study. A lot of exciting science things going on right now. A lot of people interested in it too. Go sci-fi, yay. Okay. So researchers developed a model comprised of a combination of freezing and pressurization. I'm trying to understand this right now. Using images collected by NASA's Galileo spacecraft, the researchers developed a model to propose how a combination of freezing and pressurization can lead to cryovolcanic eruptions. Okay, so other than an ocean escaping through cracks in the crust, they're saying the fact that it's cold and under pressure could just create a burst of frigid water. Well, if it just creates a burst of frigid water, where's the water coming from? I need to know why they think it's just pockets. Or maybe they think that just pockets would be enough pressure to create the plumes.
Maybe.
It doesn't necessarily need an entire ocean. It could just be maybe the size-wise. It doesn't necessarily need to be a whole ocean to create a plume. It could just be something small. The researchers focused their analysis on Manannan. M-A-N-A-N-N-A with the italic N. Manannan. An 18-mile-wide crater on Europa that resulted from an impact with another celestial object tens of millions of years ago. Reasoning that such a collision would have generated tremendous heat, they modeled how the melted ice and subsequent freezing of the water pocket within the icy shell could have pressurized it and caused the water to erupt. The researchers focused on their analysis on Manannan, an 18-mile-wide crater on Europa. I didn't know Europa had craters. I know it had the ice cracks and ridge. I mean, I guess it would have craters. I mean, anything would, but
they wouldn't stick around for as long as if they were on a...
I haven't really heard of like Europa craters before. That resulted from an impact with another celestial object tens of millions of years ago. So they're saying this crater on Europa has been there tens of millions of years. I should have heard of it before now. Reasoning that such a collision could have generated tremendous heat, they modeled how the melted ice and subsequent freezing of the water pocket within the icy shell could have pressurized it and caused the water to... So millions of years ago, something impacted Europa, and the pressure of that impact might have, and then freezing of it might have been enough to create a water pocket. Okay, so that's how the water pockets could have been made.
Yeah, it's like where the energy for that.
Yeah, okay, that's all that they're saying there. The comet or asteroid hitting the ice shell was basically a big experiment. Oh, okay. So it's not, they're not actually, I don't know if they're actually talking about a crater. The comet or asteroid hitting the ice shell was basically a big experiment which we're using to construct hypothesis to test, said co-author Don Blankenship, senior research scientist at the University of Texas Institute in Geophysics and principal investigator of the radar instrument REASON, Radar for Europa Assessment and Sounding Ocean to Near Surface. That's a big one. That will fly aboard NASA's upcoming Europa Clipper, yay, spacecraft. Our model makes specific predictions we can test using data from the radar and other instruments on the Europa Clipper. I don't understand a lot of what I think they're just trying to say they're going to keep studying it. They did an experiment, and they're going to send some equipment along on Europa Clipper to further their experiment, try to verify their experiment results. The model indicates that as Europa's water partially froze into ice following the impact, leftover pockets of water could have been created on the moon's surface. These salty water pockets can move sideways through Europa's shell by melting adjacent regions of ice and consequently become even saltier in the process. So I guess that's addressing why, because Reitzel told us there's more data besides the plumes that make us think there's an ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're trying to explain the rest of it. Even though plumes generated by brine pocket migration would not provide direct insight into Europa's ocean, our findings suggest that Europa's ice shelf itself is very dynamic, said co-lead author Joanne Weigott. I think I did that wrong. Vogt, a graduate research assistant at the University of Arizona in Tucson. The relatively small size of the plume that would form from Manannan indicates that impact craters possibly can't explain the source of other larger plumes on Europa that have been hypothesized based on data from Galileo and NASA's Hubble Space Telescope. Researchers said, but the process modeled for Manana eruption could happen on other icy bodies even without an impact event. So basically, an impact event and water pockets can explain some of the smaller eruptions, but it can't explain the bigger ones, it sounds like. So go SpaceFish. They're still in the lead. Yeah, okay.
It might be a combination of both things. Some of the smaller things are from impacts, and some of the bigger ones are from the...
Doesn't have to be all one or all the other, you know. The work is exciting because it supports a growing body of research showing there could be multiple kinds of plumes on Europa. Yeah, said Robert Pappalardo. That's fun to say. Of NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California, a project scientist of the Europa Clipper mission. Understanding plumes and their possible sources strongly contributes to Europa Clipper's goal to investigate Europa's habitability. Missions such as Europa Clipper can help to contribute to the field of astrobiology. The interdisciplinary research on the variables and conditions of distant worlds that could harbor life as we know it. While Europa Clipper is not a life-detecting mission, it will conduct detailed reconnaissance of Europa and investigate whether the icy moon, with its subsurface ocean, has the capability to support life. Understanding Europa's habitability will help scientists better understand how life developed on Earth and the potential for finding life beyond our planet. For more information about Europa and Europa Clipper can be found at europa.nasa.gov. So, what did we learn today? We learned that there could be another explanation besides a global ocean for the plumes that we see shooting out of Europa, which does hinder the global ocean, idea, but the brine pockets can't explain some of the larger plumes yet. So yeah, I think it's just a combination of both. I don't think this disproves the theory of SpaceFish whatsoever. Maybe there's a different kind, because it sounds like the brine pockets have a higher concentration of like salts and things. So maybe there's a type of life that likes that type of environment better than an ocean. It might just mean Europa has more diverse forms of habitability and life. So we'll see. But what do you think?
I think we'll find out more with Europa Clipper.
Yeah. Do we know when Europa Clipper is? I haven't heard it in a long time. Everything's so weird right now. We're all just doing our best, aren't we, Noodle? Doesn't she look better? Yeah. It's good to talk to pets and let them hear your voice and hold them.
It is set to launch in 2024.
2024. I think that's when Musk says he'll be to Mars by.
Maybe. We'll find out.
So.
NASA is aiming to get to the moon by 2024 also.
Yeah, they need to. Come on. There's a lot of stuff on asteroid mining I'm really interested in right now. So, if anyone wants an article read about asteroid mining, I am going to be looking for that next. But we're going to try to play some Ark, and I'll probably go off camera for it because I've been on camera a few times, and it's kind of difficult with Noodle because I have to get up a lot. But if you'd like to, you can. Are we going to start a new stream or just lead over into this one?
We can just transfer from this one.
Okay, so we're just going to transfer over. Today in Ark, we're going to be looking for those giant gorilla guys that you ride on their backs because we want to tame some for a New Year's stream we're going to do where people can ride around on dinosaurs and go through jumps and different things like that. So we're going to look for some of those to tame, and then we're also going to go over to our creative mode server where we're going to continue building our maze. And today we're going to work on the stone part and make a castle. Okay, and it looks like a couple of people, or at least one person, talked a lot, so that's nice.
Sergey Taylor just typed, I actually do.
Oh, he actually does what?
I don't
know what I asked. What did I ask? Well, I'm glad you do. And Sergey Taylor, we named a Spino after you. You're our biggest fan right now, so we're gonna start naming our dinosaurs on Ark after people who follow us and stuff on Twitch. So I don't know if you've seen our Spino, but he's beautiful. Is he? Wait, which one is he? Or was it the crab? What did we name after him?
The crab was Kirkinos.
Oh yeah, Kirkinos. I think it's a Spino. We'll have to go over to Ab and check.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna be on. We're just gonna turn off the camera and deal with Noodle, and I need to take a lot of breaks, so we'll take a break too.
Oh, asteroids. So the asteroid mining stuff. Sergey Taylor's interested in that.
Okay. I will do one about asteroid mining then. Should I do a schedule?
Maybe.
What day is today?
Today is Tuesday.
I'll do it Friday. I'll do one on Friday. We'll do an asteroid mining, and we'll try to do maybe one or two a week if it's something that people like, because I like reading them, and Noodle tends to do okay with it. Okay.
We'll switch over.
Yeah.